Right. So, being that tomorrow's the longest day of the year, I always feel like it's appropriate to do a backbending sequence on a day like this, to kind of match the illumination of the sun to bring the lightness of our own being. And the backbends just have a way of bringing ourselves into expansion and honoring what's happening in the seasons all around us. We've had such a tremendous spring, and now the heat is coming on. So, just a reminder that, anytime that you feel like you're overheating in your day, you can always try the subtle cooling practices of yoga. So, we'll do a little bit of that at the end. So, we're going to kind of rise into some expansion of our heart energy, and then at the end we'll do some cooling practices as well. So let's go ahead and close our eyes and sit up straight and tall and take a moment to drop down in. So what a gift having an hour to spend with yourself. So try to uh, walk away from whatever's pulling you in your past or future so that you can really put some boundaries around this sacred time for your practice. And as you close your eyes and settle on the inside, notice what you're noticing. Just try to heighten your awareness of self. Bring yourself into the breath. And start to notice your posture. Is your tendency to have a bit of a slump in your spine or a collapse in your chest? And let's see what we can do to create a little bit of lightness within your spine, a buoyancy. Imagine your vertebrae are floating on the discs. See if you can uplift the heart like it's on an updraft. And what's holding you here? When you change your posture to be this spacious, uh, what's here? What's holding you here? So try to notice the support of your back muscles, your core, the alignment of your bones, creating an efficiency within you so that it's less effort. And while we're here, let's bring our hands to our heart and think about, what this zenith of sunlight can offer you. If there's something that's kind of hiding in the dark inside you, can you bring it into the light? Is there an opportunity here to use the season, to use the solar energy to give you energy? And then release your hands. And let's find our way to our back. So as you stretch out and lengthen in your body, recognize that having that posture is a really beautiful thing to just lie down for a moment. Okay. Excuse me, Nina. My kitty cat is joining us today. All right, so stretch your arms overhead and feel that reaching of your spine. So open your sides up and notice just the subtlety of when your arms come overhead, there's a teeny bit of a back bend in your body, and just enjoy the invigoration that this offers you. And stretch your left, stretch your right, open up your shoulders. And then bring your arms down at your sides and notice the changing shape of your spine. And we're just going to very gently notice the difference between the two. So when you lift your arms overhead, pay attention to the shape of your spine, your ribs, your shoulder blades changing. And then when you bring your arms down at your sides, notice the changing shape again. One more time, and inhale, reaching your arms overhead. And an exhale, lowering your arms down next to your sides. And now let's sweep out to the sides, like as if you were standing and you were reaching your arms up to the sky, extending. And then exhale and sliding your arms in a big arc down by your sides again. One more time, arcing the arms up. And exhale and bringing them back down. Draw your knees into your chest and let your low back open up a little bit. Rocking, swaying. Hang on to the knees and let's circle a little bit of time here. And then the other direction, circling a little bit. And then let's open up your knees, kind of waking up the hip joints in a new way. All right, and then find a happy baby pose. So grab onto your feet and drop your knees down toward the ground. Feel free to rock a little bit left and right and kind of check in with your back. How's your spine feeling in this position? Just opening up that lumbar spine a little bit. And then put your right foot on your left knee. And you can either hold your left leg somewhere or you can hold your right leg. And I'm holding my right foot and my right knee and circling about, just kind of waking up my hip here. And then legs straight up in the air, arms overhead, and see if you can feel that desire to have the back bend in your body with your arms overhead, but then knit your ribs down and feel that stability in the center body. Relax your neck and your head, and let's flex and point our toes while we're here, keeping nice and stable through the core of your body. Draw your knees into your chest. Pick up your head, a little bit of a hug. Expanding open to a star, reaching your legs wide, arms wide. Exhale, draw in again, round spine. Put your right foot on the ground, left foot on your right knee, and then pick up that right leg and hold wherever you want to hold to just open up your left hip now a little bit more. Maybe a little bit of circling or rocking or pulsing, maybe stillness. And just pay attention. How does this hip feel compared to the other? And then release that. Legs up again, arms up overhead one more time. Knit the ribs down to the ground. Let's open the legs wide. And then bring the legs back in. You can bring your arms down next to your sides if that's more stable for your body. But a couple of movements of your legs wide and bring them back in, keeping the core really stable as you move. And then knees into your chest. Pick up your head. One more time, a star on the ground. Exhale, knees in. Put your head down, right knee hugs in, left leg long on the ground, and move about in your feet. Rolling through your ankles, wiggling through your toes, enjoying some of the mobility that you have here. And then keeping hold of that right knee, cross it over to the left. Don't go too far. Let your spine enjoy the twist without feeling burdened by it. Open up across your chest. All right, breathing deeply. And then coming back to center, open that right knee wide out to the right side. Just opening up the hip in a little different way. Right, and then back to neutral, give it a hug, switch sides, left knee in, right leg long, wiggle your toes, roll your ankles, move your feet. Enjoy what this feeling is, not just in your ankles and feet, but how your calves and your shins are starting to welcome in some movement. A nice good squeeze of that knee, and then let's cross the left knee over to the right and stretch open through your chest. Breathing well here. Maybe a little bit of movement with that left arm, just kind of see how you feel. Back in with your knee, both knees in, chin to your chest, hug, put your head down, grab your feet, one more happy baby pose. A little bit of rocking in your spine, in your hips, in your legs. And then if you feel like it, you can do a little bit of rocking plow here, where we just rock the spine, and you can go as far into this as you'd like. You can even have a little bit of a moment in a very modified plow pose, or if this doesn't feel good in your spine, then you can just rock your knees left and right like windshield wipers. Put your feet down onto the ground, and we're just going to turn on the engine of our core, kind of ignite some of that solar energy inside of us. A lot of times um, the chakra that sits right below your rib cage, your third chakra, it tends to be depicted as the color yellow and like a sun a lot of times. So imagine that solar energy is kind of all in your abdomen, and we're going to just stoke that fire a little bit. So hug your right knee in, and then hug your left knee in, and the other leg goes straight, and we're just going back and forth, kind of pumping the legs a little bit, using your core, breathing. All right. And lastly, one more star before we roll over. Knees into your chest and roll to your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, as you find all fours, start moving through some cat-cows. Finding an arching of your spine and a rounding of your spine, kind of moving through your vertebrae. And remember, if we're going to do some heart opening poses, we want to get our spine really opened up and loosened up. So let the fullness of this pose happen, and then feel free to move around any way you want. Get away from just the flexion and extension, and just let your spine ripple about in any movement pattern that your body's calling for. You can circle or wag or compress and open. Move your shoulders, your head, your hips, anything that feels freeing. All right. Then come to a neutral spine. Press the ground away a little bit, so we're just nice and grounded here. And let your belly fall all the way toward the ground. And try to notice, kind of like deep inside the change that happens around your diaphragm when we do this. So we're going to exhale to pull our navel toward our spine. And then we're going to inhale to release. This might feel very counterintuitive. You might want to pull in on your inhale. So try to pay attention to the breath pattern, where you're going to exhale to pull your navel to your spine. Inhale, relax your belly toward the floor. So kind of just some billows, some pumping. Doesn't have to be super fast. Just waking up your diaphragmatic movements. All right, and then stretch back towards child's pose. Walk the hands out in front of you. Drop your hips toward your heels and open up your shoulders. Okay. Let's walk our hands over to the left side of your mat so that you're waking up that right side of your body, feeling the stretch and reach. Big breaths here. And come back to center, open up the other side. Feeling your breathing. And then come back to all fours. Okay, let's find some movement here of a twist. So we'll reach that arm up in the air. Exhale, drop your shoulders down. Full breaths in, full breaths out. Try to accentuate your breathing. Move your diaphragm within this twist. And then lift that arm back up to the air. Hand down onto the ground. Let's switch sides. Arm up. Exhale. Slide it under. Breathing deeply. A full inhale. Complete exhale. And then we'll reach that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Find a full dog. So as you come into dog pose, enjoy that we're bringing our whole body into a posture now. I can feel this opening up in a lot of places, so feel free to pedal your feet, taking some time to get those Achilles open and your calves and all the bones of your feet open. You can bend one knee and drop the other heel. And you can change that pattern and just come into stillness at any point. Root to rise, melt through your skull. Notice your breathing. And then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Enjoy. As you fold forward, let your neck relax. And feel a sense of ease. You can bend your knees as much as you want. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up through your spine here. Sit bones high. Feel the heart lift and extend. Exhale to melt, to fold again. Relax your neck. Grab onto the base of your skull with the heel of your hands. Have a little tug down and in, opening up those paraspinal muscles again. And then release into a half lift. Hands on blocks or legs, opening up your heart. Bend your knees. Inhale, rise up, arms to the sky, feeling that extension. So just like when we were on the floor, can you notice when your arms are overhead that the tendency is to push your ribs forward a little bit and arch your back? Knit your ribs in just like we did on the ground. Okay. Feel your breath. And let's cactus open your shoulders, elbows bent, arms wide. Exhale, round in, chin to chest. Again, arms up. Cactus your arms out. Exhale and round in. Bring the arms up one more time. This time bring them out to the sides. Press your palms toward the walls, fingertips toward the sky. Let that nerve glide happen. Maybe a little bit of circles through your arms. And then maybe an ear lifting up toward the sky and the other ear, and just kind of going back and forth, waking up your shoulders and your arms. Now, keeping your hands where they are, take your arms back a little further, opening through your chest, and then release your hands down and give your hands a shake. Interlace your fingers behind your back, open up across your chest. Okay. Feeling that freedom across your heart. And then bend forward and let your arms release away from your spine. You can use a strap between your hands if it's not comfortable. Okay, relax your neck. Open up the fronts of your shoulders. Shimmy your ribs away from the hips a little bit. Bend your knees as much as you need. Bobble the head. How's your breath? And then release your arms down at your sides. Inhale for a halfway lift. Extending through your heart here. Exhale to fold. Step back to a dog pose, feeling that extension and length in the body. Big breaths here. And then we'll come forward into a plank and ground yourself. Push the ground away. Stabilize through your core. Lots of breathing. Put your knees down to support you. Come to the ground. A few shoulder rolls. Feel those shoulder blades. Inhale, cobra pose, opening your chest. Exhale, melting to come back down. This time, hover the hands. Elbows are bent. Draw your elbows back toward the wall behind you. Shoulder blades down the back. Stabilize with your pelvis. Inhale, lift up. Big breaths. Let your diaphragm move so your belly's moving your body. Again, that Annapurna chakra. See if you can get your diaphragm to move. And then place your hands back down and come back up onto all fours. Wiggle the spine, wag your tail, circle, swish, sway. Anything that releases. And find your way back to a dog pose. Feeling that extension in your body. Root to rise. Lift your right leg up in the air and stack open that hip so that you feel that stretch and freedom through the front of the pelvis, the front of your belly. Breathe deeply. Then put that foot down onto the ground, switching sides. Left leg up, stack it open. Big breaths here. Enjoy opening up your body. Push through your hands. And then place that foot back down onto the ground. Your non-dominant foot first. Walk forward. Come to Uttanasana. A forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Opening up through your spine again. And then exhale. Release back down. Push through your feet. Rising up. Arms to the sky. Trace down through the center of your body. Pause here for a moment and just pay attention. Notice how you are. Grounding through your feet, opening up through your breath. Okay. All right. Take your feet hip width apart to begin. We're going to just twist our spine a little bit to kind of keep that opening of our spine in all its directions. Okay, so let the arms get a little flumpy. Core is engaged while we're here. So we're stabilizing with our center. We're not just falling into this pose. And then arms out. Let your hips move. Let your feet move. Breathing deeply. Arms up a little higher maybe. And then coming back down. Okay. All right. Jiggle your spine. Let your arms be flumpy. Okay, getting that feedback through your vertebrae, kind of letting the discs do their job of cushioning. And then pause here in Tadasana. Just notice yourself, notice your breath, notice your body, notice the sense of grounding that you have. We're going to do some movements in a chair, through chair poses. So you can do this with your feet together or your feet apart, your choice. Inhale, arms up to the sky. A little bit of a back bend if it feels supportive and good. And then exhale, bend your knees. Arms down. Inhale up. Building some heat. Moving your diaphragm, moving your breath. All right, and then we're going to stay in a chair. Okay, so feet together or apart, your choice. Push the ground away. Find your breath. Bring your hands to your heart for a moment. Slower movements than what we just did. We're going to come up onto our toes, nice and slow. Reach the arms up. And then exhale, heels down, chair pose. Inhale up onto your toes. Exhale for a chair. Invigorate some of those muscles along your spine. Reach your arms, knees back. And then bend forward to a forward fold. Separate your feet. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melting again. Relax your head. Step your left foot back, come to a lunge. Right foot in front. And we'll find our breathing here as we move. Bending and straightening the front knee. Full breaths. Okay, ground yourself. Place the back knee on the ground and maybe move your front foot forward a couple of inches or your back knee back a couple inches so you extend through the lunge well. Bring your hands up onto some high blocks so that you're extending and opening through your spine with a little support. Try not to sink and collapse into the hips, but push your front foot into the ground so that there's buoyancy to now let go of the blocks and reach the arms overhead. Lots of stability in your legs so that you're not sinking through your spine, but floating upward. Find the breath. Take a twist, forearm or elbow or something on your knee. Twisting, open. Feel the hip flexor extend. Big full breaths here. Let your diaphragm move deeply. Right, coming back, arms back up to the sky, and then bring your hands onto the blocks, half Panamasana. Stretching through your hamstring now, flex your toes, lift your heart, feeling that extension in your spine. We're gonna stack our hand onto our our left side. You can always put 2 blocks there if you want, and twist open to the right. Right hand behind you, drop that hip down. Try to have a sense of keeping that right hip in instead of letting it pop out. I put a little extra height underneath my hand. You do you. Okay. And then back to center to your lunge. Come up with your knee, turn to the long edge of your mat, wide legs, Pasrita. Drop your head down, open up the inner groins and the hamstrings. Find your breath, relax your skull. Inhale for a halfway lift here, so hands under your shoulders. Extend your spine long. Exhale and come back down. Heel toe your feet in a little bit and bend your knees to a deeper squat. So elbows inside your knees, open your chest. Finding your breath, try not to collapse. The heart is open, the shoulder blades are on the back. And then we're going to turn back to the front of your mat for a lunge. Round your legs, push through your feet. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Opening up through your spine, breathing deeply. Release your hands down, back foot comes forward, fold. A halfway lift, open up. Exhale, fold again. Step your right foot back, left foot is now in front for this side. Okay. Breathing deeply. Let's go ahead and bend and straighten through the front leg. You feel free to lift your toes if you'd like. Feel free to keep your toes on the ground. Try to move slowly and with your breathing, letting your body feel what it's feeling. Try to enjoy being inside your body, this beautiful sense of embodiment. Such a gift for keeping us grounded, present, available. Come to a lunge. Place your back knee onto the ground and maybe from your usual position, walk your toes a little, your left toes a little forward or your right knee a little bit further back, kind of just stretch your lunge maybe a little bit beyond what you normally do and see if you can sustain that. Opening up the hip flexor on this side. Okay, push through your feet, rising up. So remember, we're stabilizing with our core and our legs. We're not falling into the ground. Feel that buoyancy of the lift of your spine. Look up. See if you can welcome in some of that solar energy. What do you need energy for right now? Okay. All right, let's take a twist. Forearm on your knee, elbow on your outer knee, hand on your knee, whatever support systems work. I have my other hand on my thigh to help me lift my spine. Hug to the midline, press your front foot. Full breaths. Let your diaphragm and your ribs move as you breathe. All right, come back to neutral. Put your hands on the blocks. Stretch back to half Hanumasana. Toes up, hip down. Try to keep that, try not to let your left hip hike out, but sink it down. Imagine you have a weight on the sit bone. Lift up through your spine. And breathing deeply. So even if you're leaning forward some, that's great, but you want to do it with an open heart and a lifted chest instead of falling toward the ground. We'll take a twist here. Feel free to stack your two blocks on top of each other on the inside edge of that left leg. Reach your left arm up and swing it open for a twist. Breathe well. Open your heart. Drop the hip. And then come back. Come into your lunge. Lift your back knee up off the ground. Root your legs. Find your good posture. Inhale, crescent lunge. Arms up to the sky. Feel the heart lift and expand. You don't have to do extreme back bends to feel the heart open. Okay, simple things. Just finding that updraft through the heart so we're not sinking down and in. Resist the urge to let resignation or fear or hopelessness take root in your heart. Instead, lift into hope, lift into space, lift into optimism as best as you can. And then release your hands down onto the ground, a dog pose. Full breaths in, full breaths out. Ground yourself, yield and push. Feel the fullness of your breath melting through your head. Come grounding yourself into a plank. Root the four corners of your hands. Straight line with your body, shoulders away from the ears. Full breaths in and out. And put your knees on the ground. Find the earth. Take your hands next to your body, palms facing down. Okay. Inhale, rise up, arms, legs, shoulders, chest, everything up. Big breaths here. Neck is long. Okay, release and come down. Interlace your hands behind your back. And if this doesn't work for your body, just repeat what we just did. Take a deep breath. Pull your hands down towards your legs. Inhale, lift everything up. Collarbones broaden, breathe deeply. Legs, arms, everything's up. Let your diaphragm move. Exhale and relax. Put your hands under your head. Pick up your feet and windshield wiper your knees left and right. All right, come up. Maybe a cat-cow, maybe moving around on all fours. Maybe your body wants child's pose. Okay. And then we're going to come on to our back. Ground through your feet. Okay, we're going to do a couple of practice runs with our arms moving before a full bridge. Ground your four corners, feet are hip width apart. We're going to inhale to lift our pelvis and our arms overhead, pelvis up. And then exhale to lower our arms and our pelvis back down. Repeating again with the breath, inhaling, arms up overhead, and then exhaling, arms and pelvis back down. All right, so variations abound. If you feel like you want to do a passive version of this, you can always put a block underneath your pelvis. So you can do the full version where you interlace your hands underneath you. If that makes you feel like you just collapse your shoulders inward, don't do that. It would be better to have your palms up and your arms pressing into the ground to open your chest than to interlace your fingers and have your upper arm bones roll internally. So keep the external rotation of your shoulders and put your hands in a place that accommodates that. So start by lifting your hips and climbing open in your shoulders. Bring your shoulder blades toward each other. Turn the palms up toward the sky so you feel that external rotation. If you can maintain that and place your hands underneath you and interclasp them, great. And if not, keep your arms on the ground, palms facing up. Press your arms, lift your hips, ground the four corners of your feet, open the armpit chest, and breathe. Breathe into your diaphragm. Breathe into those lower ribs, all the way to your belly. Keep active in your legs. Press your feet down. The glutes are working, the hamstrings, all is working. All right, and then relax your body back, your pelvis back down. Get your shoulders out from that position and windshield wiper your knees left and right. All right. Roll to or move your hips, I should say, to the right. Bring your knees up, drop them left. And we're still doing another back bend, but I just want you to open across your chest one more time. So find the pec muscles, broadening. And then bring your knees up and we'll bring your hips to the other side. Scoot your knees right, hips left. Twisting open and feel your left pecs open up. All right, coming back to center. Resist the urge to bring your knees to your chest. You have a couple of choices here. You can do a full wheel pose if you're, if that's something that you feel really comfortable with and you know what to do. I'm not going to cue that one. Or you can flip onto your belly and do Dhanurasana. So Urdhva Dhanurasana is the full back bend Dhanurasana on your belly. You can also repeat another bridge pose if you don't want to do either of those top two choices. Okay, so I'm going to be on my belly and grab my feet. And keep your knees, no matter what you're doing, in line with your hips. Take a deep breath in and lift into the posture. Shoulder blades down. Open up through your breath. Neck is long, so we're not flinging our head back. Lengthen through your front body. Drop your tailbone toward your knees. Let your breath move you. So waking up that chakra, your solar plexus with your breath, and then relax and melt. If you're on your belly, put your head on your hands and windshield wiper your feet. If you're on your back, come down, or if you were in Urdhva or bridge pose, just come down onto your pelvis, on lying on your back. Bring your knees and windshield wiper your knees left and right, feet on the floor. All right, come on up. Swivel around in your spine. We have one more passive back bend to kind of just seal the heart opening that we've been working with. We've been working a lot with moving the diaphragm and the rib cage and the spine together with twists and breath and back bends. But now I want you to kind of cool this down and let it be a more passive opening that can imprint on you. So two choices here. You can do heart bench with one block under your head and one under your spine, or I'll demonstrate this one. You can take one or two blankets, you can roll them together if you're using two, and create a round bolster. And we will put that, we're going to start, if you're using the round bolster, we're going to do 3 different positions. Top shoulder blades, bottom shoulder blades, and then pelvis. If you're in heart bench, remember you can have any position with your arms or your legs that you want. Just want to make sure that your spine and your head are supported. If you're using the rolled towel like me and your head doesn't like to go back, you can always put a blanket or a block underneath your head. Always there's choices. You can have your knees bent in any of these two choices, the heart bench or the towel or the rolled blanket. You can have your knees bent, feet on the floor, Baddha Konasana legs, straight legs, whatever feels good. Same with your arms. You can try bringing your arms overhead or cactus out to the side or teed out to the side, whatever feels good for your body. Whatever you're choosing, try to let the cooling nature of the back bend start to come, where we're a little more passive in our posture, which helps us to imprint the open heart. Focus on your breath. Melt into the posture. And if you're on the rolled blanket rather, move it down a couple of inches so that you just find a new placement. We want to make sure that you stay in your shoulder blades. Do not go lower than your shoulder blades, but you can be toward the bottom tip of your shoulder blades, and this will open your diaphragm a little differently. So sense into that solar plexus, see what it feels like to breathe well. Arms anywhere you want, legs anywhere you want. Rest your head. It's so easy when we get stressed to shrink our breath, to, kind of take up less real estate in our lungs. So we want to broaden and expand and open our breathing. And then the final position, we're going to take this rolled blanket under our pelvis. So skip the lower back entirely. And like a supported bridge, put the blanket underneath your pelvis. If it's comfy to straighten your legs, heels on the ground, then do that. If that is a little much for your back, you can try bending one knee and one leg straight at a time and then switch after a couple breaths, or you can just keep your knees bent. It may seem like not much, but arms overhead can make a bit of a difference. Breathing into the fullness of your breath. All right, and then there's no rush. If you're really happy, you can stay a few more breaths, but whenever you're ready, we'll come out of the pose that we're in. Come to a neutral position with our spine and pelvis on the ground, our feet on the ground, knees bent. And just pause here for a moment before doing anything else and just let your body return to a sense of neutral. Resist the urge to pull your knees into your chest right away. We're going to twist first. All right, so maybe you want to begin with a little windshield wiper or just go right to a simple twist. So hips over to the right, knees toward the chest a bit and over to the left. A full breath. Notice your spine kind of recoiling back to a sense of neutral. Okay, knees up. Scoot your hips the other way and then knees up and over to the side. Breathing well. All right, and then when you're ready, come back up. Okay. If you have a strap, you can grab it and come lying on your back. Bring your right foot into the strap. If you don't have a strap, then you can just wrap your hands around your hamstring. And we'll just stretch our glute and our hamstring here. Left knee can be bent or left leg can be straight, your choice. Stretching your leg up in the air, drop your femur bone, lift your foot. Big breaths here. And we're going to take the strap, if you're using a strap, into the left hand. We're going to cross our right leg over to the left and move your right hip away from your shoulder. Okay, so long spine, just getting a little bit into that, stretching the outer hip, a little bit of a twist. Breathing deep. Lift that leg back up, 2 feet into the strap for a moment. Okay, root your pelvis down, femurs down, ribs down for a minute. And then we'll take that left foot into the strap and the right leg comes out and comes onto the floor. Knee bent or knee straight. Root your left hip down, relax your skull. Feel your body cooling down, the sense of ease as we're lying on our back. Breathing well. All right, and then take the strap into the right hand, cross the left foot a bit over to the right. Doesn't have to be super far. Left hip moves away from your left shoulder. Breathing deeply. And that leg up. One more time, 2 feet into the strap, or hold the backs of your legs if you don't have a strap. And then we'll let the strap go and bring your knees into your chest. So a little bit of rocking. We're going to open up our hips and then we'll open up our back. Put your left foot down, right foot on left knee, reverse your pigeon. Hold anywhere that's comfy. Relax your head down. Breathing well. All right, let's change sides. Left foot on your right knee and reach to grab, hold. Melt your skull. You can always put a blanket under your head if you feel like your neck can't rest. And then relax your legs down. Now you can open up your back a little bit. So a happy baby pose. Grab onto your feet. Open up the lumbar spine. Feel free to round your back a little bit. Feel free to rock a little bit. Any kind of movement that's easeful. And it could just be that you like your knees to your chest, not happy baby. Or you could go even deeper and do some rocking plows or hang out in a plow pose for a moment. So just kind of find what's comfortable for your body to open up your back. Sometimes after this, I don't like to do a full plow, but I just like to bend my knees and put them to my forehead. So you do you. Okay. And then once you're kind of complete, and there's no need to be done just yet, but we're going to do just a little bit of Satali breath. This is the cooling breath. So with this heat coming on, remember that inversions, cooling inversions like a plow pose or a shoulder stand or a leg up the wall pose, those are the, more cooling inversions, are really good to kind of help you. So if you want, after we do Satali breath, if you'd like to choose to do Shavasana with your legs up the wall, that can be a very soothing way of doing Shavasana. So you can do this lying down, you don't have to sit up, but you can sit up for a moment if you want to. We're going to do 3 Satali breaths. I think we did this yesterday. I just want to always remind you as the heat comes on that this is a good way to cool yourself down. So roll your tongue. And if you can't genetically roll your tongue, you can put your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. And we're going to breathe in through your mouth. Probably one of the only times I'll ever tell you to breathe in through your mouth. So breathing in through that tunnel and then relaxing your mouth and breathing out through your mouth or nose. It's a very drying breath when you breathe through your mouth. So having a sip of water before you do this can kind of give that evaporative cooling vibe. So it's a nice way to use a sip of water to your advantage. So 3 cooling breaths. Imagine that this cooling, the evaporative cooling that's happening through your tongue and mouth and throat, expand it to include your lungs, expand it to include your blood vessels. See if you can just expand the cooling aspect of that breath for these 3 rounds of your breath. And once you're all done with your 3, then just allow yourself to melt into your resting posture. So it could be legs up the wall, it could be calves up on a couch, it could be lying flat. A lot of times when we've done such important work with our spine, bending your knees for Shavasana can be helpful. So a little, support underneath your knees at the minimum.
Let yourself drop into the ground. If your legs are up a wall, maybe you have a little blanket under your pelvis or under your head. So just make sure that your body's comfortable no matter what resting position you chose. We've done a lot to open up the diaphragmatic breathing, so let your breathing be nice and free here. All right, let's begin to deepen our breathing. Wiggle and stretch and move in any way that is good for you. Eventually finding your way to your side.
As you come up to a comfortable seat, let's take a moment to notice maybe a slightly different imprint of your heart space, of your breath. Can you lift your internal sun toward the zenith of our solstice sun? Just allow yourself to receive light, not just the light from the sky, but an internal light. See if you can just stoke the internal light. Let's bring this courageous light energy outward to the world. Keep your heart lifted. Send forth your love, your hope. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.